Well, I wanted to make a quick video on the group assessment because I believe it's a rather important topic, and I wanted to go through each of the key principles and what is being assessed with you guys here. So, the group assessment is more or less checking how your communication skill is and your teamwork. Um, what I like to say is if you're an important team member or not, basically. Um, so you're not really competing against other candidates here. It is more to evaluate how you contribute to the group. So if you contribute a lot, you're an important team member and therefore will probably have a higher ranking or higher chance to pass this stage. There are some key principles you should keep in mind when attending. Um, Try to keep things short. Don't be the guy that is talking all the time and not really contributing. Um, think before speaking. You're not. You don't need to talk all the time. To stand out. It is more you need to do stuff in this group assessment that makes you important. So quality over quantity, basically. Also, if you see that someone from your group is rather shy, make sure to ask for their opinion. This shows great leadership and shows that you, do not dominate the discussion, okay? So it means that you also are interested in others' people ideas. And if you involve them, the chance of you passing the stage is very high because you're involving other people and showing that you care about them as well. Staying calm under pressure is essential. Um, they are going to, most likely, I would say, get you some time pressure. That is fully intentional. They'll make situations feel chaotic. They might explain exercises really, really poor. So your team struggles, and they also might be skipping time ahead if they see that, your team is not really under pressure. This is totally intentional, and they're trying to get you basically out of your game. Um, Try to stay calm. It is a very stressful time, but try to stay calm and collected and work with your team, okay? Don't rush through things. Stay focused on the topic, okay? And if the time gets well short, and you don't have enough time, try to get to a decision. The worst thing you can do in this group exercise is not have a decision that is final and a decision that no one agrees on. That is the worst thing you could have. Like either no decision or a decision you made up without informing your team members, right? They should all be agreeing to that solution or decision. Try to keep the big picture as well. Um, this was a problem for me. I like to get stuck on small details, and then it's gonna cost you dearly in time. And this is very similar to the feast too. Like, try to try to not focus on the small details. Try to give an overall good performance. Um, Regarding your decision making, um, do not stay passive. With that, I mean involve yourself. This is more for the more shyer people who don't really um, well dominate the discussion. Try to ensure that you offer your opinion and ideas to the, well, group, because it might help you get a bigger or better solution. So basically, try to collaborate with them, okay? And try to avoid really interrupting people. Do not interrupt people. This is the worst thing you can do, basically. Do not interrupt them. Let others speak out. If they dominate the, well, conversation or group exercise and they're talking and talking and talking, try to, well, tell them, yeah, for example, there's a great point of view. Let's continue on so that you don't get stuck on one thing. Avoid staying silent completely. I've had one that was pretty much silent all the time. Um, this is very bad. So try to not be, it's hard to say, try to not be talking all the time, but involve yourself. Be important to, well, the teamwork exercise. Um, Also, I want to note that you don't have to talk all the time. You can also be important. For example, let's say there is a teamwork exercise where you are tasked with, let's say, a more planning an escape route, for example, with your team. In this case, you can also get important or also be important if you write down things, like important things that will help you later on in explaining your solution to the assessors. So there are a lot of ways you can become an important team member. It is not just through talking. In general, math you should be aware of is pretty straightforward, and I highly recommend you know basic math, descent rate calculation, time calculation, and distance calculation. You should be able to calculate how much altitude you need to lose to reach a certain altitude in time. You should also be able to calculate time and, of course, the distance. And there are some tricks you can use, but you don't want to be standing there and presenting, for example, something, and then they ask you about the descent rate. If the airplane, for example, can descend in time, and you're just standing there and you have no clue how to solve it, this would be very bad. So make sure you're able to calculate certain things, um, like descent rate. Yeah, but else you should be good. Um, you're expected more or less to, well, have more interest than um, someone who never heard of air traffic control. You should know, for example, what a radar is or how a radar works, for example. You should be aware of that because it's going to help you in the next stage of the interview, which most of the time follows pretty well closely behind. So if you have extra time to spare, go through the math and also inform yourself about general, well, knowledge of an ATC. We don't want you to, like, you don't need to learn everything about an ATC, but you should have some basic knowledge, how the separation is in the air, what kind of positions of air traffic controllers there are, the basic stuff you should be aware of. And yeah, that is basically it for the group assessment.